Hey, everybody out there in podcast land. Welcome to the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. I am the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
Thank you for joining us. We are taping on the 7th of July. This will hit on the 10th, and we have got fun stuff for you. We have got tons of news. I'm going to bounce some of this stuff off the conquistador, see his reaction here in the first segment with our music and TV updates.
Let us begin.
Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson and his bandmates have been wearing shirts, putting up posters, teasing that there is a new album coming on the 15th of July.
Tee-hee-hee.
So, despite the fact that you and I passed on seeing them a couple years ago,
maybe we will get a shot at redemption.
We'll still have to probably do the whole no physical tickets crap.
Bastards.
But
whatever. We're old school. We want our souvenirs. Damn it.
Speaking of old school, Yes announced they are putting out a new album.
Don't care.
Never a prog rock guy?
Not really.
Nope.
Not into the prog.
The Quest will be out on October the 1st.
Yeah, never was in some prog, but never yes. Just not my cup of tea.
New Night Ranger song came out this week.
Woohoo!
Second single from the upcoming ATB PO. Bring It All Home to Me, which awesome song.
Of course, it's the Ranger.
Car news. This is going to shock you. Car news. General Motors announced that there will be no more CD players in their models starting with 2022.
I'm surprised that they're going that far because I got the last year Silverado with a CD player.
See, my daughter was making fun of me this week because she knows I'm old school. And the protege said, that means you're going to start buying used cars from now on, right, Dad? And I said, yes, I am. Shut up.
I'm driving the wheels off the one I've got. Damn it.
I'm sorry, kids. I do not want to play this whole, plug my iPod phone into the car and do my little selecting on the wheel. And I just want my CD player in my car. Just like when I was a kid, I had my cassette player or my 8-track player.
And all the damn cassettes in the center console.
Yes.
Popping them in at
If
random.
they got stuck, I'd pull out my pencil and I would
rewind them, damn it.
I'd pull out very carefully the tape, and then I would rewind it.
There you go.
You don't know what you're missing. You just don't understand.
See, now I'm actually not minding streaming the music out in the backyard, sitting on the deck.
Well, that's different,
with the Bluetooth speakers.
That's different. That's no, I can get that. That's fine. But when you're in the car,
and you're in the mood for something, sometimes you just want a specific album that you really can't get with some of this Apple CarPlay and all this other stuff that's going on. Sometimes you just want to listen to the whole album all the way through.
Thank you. That's why the Conquistador is my brother from another mother. Speaking of which, Aaron Lewis. I have never been a big Stain fan. I've just they have never done it for me.
I can take them or leave them. There's a handful of their stuff that I really like. but for the most part, I can leave them.
A little bit whiny,
Little bit.
But I will give him credit. He put out a new song here this past week. Obviously, he's gone back to the solo. He's gone back to being country. So, but Stained is still together, and I've heard they're going back out on tour. But Aaron Lewis put out a new song talking about, am I the only one? And he rips on Bruce Springsteen in this song, where he basically
Am
says,
I the only one that thinks he's a pretentious douchebag?
am I the only one who turns off a Bruce Springsteen song when it comes on the radio? Is close. That's close. It's paraphrasing, but it's close. That's what he says in this song. It's a very patriotic song. He's saying, I'm tired of this BS that you and I talk about all the time. So I give Aaron Lewis a lot of credit for being that guy who will stand up against all this PC garbage.
Good for him.
And we've talked for weeks about Bruce Springsteen and how he is such a hypocritical jackass. And the whole the Born in the USA album was a manufactured marketing ploy. That was not him trying to be something different.
No.
That was somebody telling him, if you want to break into the big time.
That was his producer and agent dictating what needed to be done.
Yeah, that was people telling him, okay, Born to Run took you so far, but now you need to go to the next level, and this is how you've got to do it, and you've got to manufacture an image.
Persona.
If anybody, and I know most of you have seen the video for Dancing in the Dark, you can't tell me that's Bruce Springsteen from Born to Run.
It's not. That is a manufactured image right there.
So, kudos to Aaron Lewis for calling out the boss. All right, we're moving on to TV and streaming. Fargo. We're waiting on season 5 of Fargo, but I did not know, and this is not new news. I guess this came out about 6 months ago, but the guy that's been running Fargo on FX the last couple seasons, Noah Hawley, is actually creating an Alien series for FX.
Really?
Yes, no Ripley involved. Supposedly the aliens will be on Earth.
Oh, so this is like future aliens.
I'm very interested to see where this goes, especially with him writing it, because I love Fargo. The Fargo, I did not necessarily love season 4. It was good, wasn't great. But
the end kind of brought 3 full circle with 4.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But Hawley's proved to me that he's creative. I'll be interested to see how this plays out.
I'm intrigued by the premise on this one.
Right. A show that I have told the Conquistador to watch over and over and over again. Yellowstone season 4 will premiere on Paramount.
It's on the
November.
list. Mrs. C and I have it there to watch.
They just had a full beginning to end marathon this past weekend, July 4th.
We had too much shit going on this weekend.
Well, at least, did you DVR it?
No. We've got access. I've got access to it. It's all good.
And the other news is that they are going to film a prequel called 1883, which will be exclusively on Paramount Plus. But this will be the Dutton family. Of course, the focus of Yellowstone.
Of course.
And how they came west in 1883. But you've got to watch Yellowstone.
I will get there.
All right, here's another one. Set your DVR, Conquistador. We love, love, love what we do in the shadows.
It's
Do we
already
not?
in there. Oh, another show.
Wellington Paranormal debuts this Sunday, July the 11th, on the CW.
I'm writing it down. Oh, you lost me there at the CW.
This has been on for 3 years overseas. It is made by the same guys that do what we do in the shadows.
How is the CW picking this up?
Because who else has got the balls to do it?
FXX?
There you go. But they did not. So Wellington Paranormal, Australian police officers, my understanding, Australian police officers investigating paranormal activity, which might have something to do with vampires.
Okay, I may have to be in for that one.
But yeah, the 2-episode premiere this coming Sunday. And the thing is, what I have seen in my research is that it's already been on for 3 years.
Overseas.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it's Australian, if it's anywhere as good as Mr. In Between, we won't be disappointed.
Yeah, they got to tell you something about that. Not spoiling anything, but I find it odd that he walks through the wilderness. You can go back to the first season, the second season, when he's killing people, burying people. Australia, to me, scares the shit out of me. Well, because it's got like the 10 most venomous snakes.
It's got the top 10 most deadly of everything in the world.
Why would you go walking out in the middle of nowhere in Australia? And he does it all the time.
Because he lives there. He knows the shit.
I know he's Billy Badass, but oh my God.
He's Ray. He's the magician.
I know. I just scares me. I would never do it. I would never ever do it. All right, kids. That's it for segment 1 on the weekend edition. We'll be right back. We have got
Hold on. I've got some TV stuff here.
Yeah, I didn't know you had any.
I told you I had some TV stuff. Streaming. All right. I've mentioned it before. The whole Expedition Unknown with Josh Gates on Discovery. Well, he did a fun little thing for Discovery Plus, which has made its way to Discovery now. Expedition Back to the Future. He teams up with Christopher Lloyd after a visit from Doc Brown saying that he and Chris had to track down a DeLorean time machine to give to Michael J. Fox for his foundation to raffle off to raise money for Parkinson's research. This is a 2-part episode, 4 hours of Josh and Chris meeting with producers, the different cast members, super fans, trying to track down the 7 screen-used DeLoreans through all 3 episodes of the franchise. And then what they had to do to make their quest a reality. Working with the man who built the original. It's a fun little ride. It's funny. The trivia, the homages, who they bring in for cameo appearances. It's a lot of damn fun. So
the whole thing, is it done or no?
Yeah, it's done.
Okay, what do you give it?
I will give this one 3 Eddies. Or 3 Frenzies, sorry. Harking back to our old music ratings. Yep. So, no, this was...
I figured I would be the one to screw that up, not you.
Yeah, well, there you go. 3 Frenzies on this one. It was fun. It was entertaining. It was cheesy, but you'll enjoy it if you enjoyed the films.
And this was on what channel?
Discovery. and
Okay.
Discovery Plus.
So you don't have to pay to see it.
No, it should be on. It was on Discovery because we have Discovery Plus that we're paying for, but we can only access it online because fucking Comcast has not put the app out yet, you bastards. But I digress. All right. Next up, back to Discovery. Greatest week of TV of the year starts Sunday, July 11th. Shark Week is back, baby. Get ready.
Well, we talked about this last week where the Jackass guys are involved somehow,
Yes,
some way.
yes, they are.
That'll be fun.
Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O. Looking forward to all that stuff. So, set your DVRs, kids. Summer is officially here with Shark Week.
All right, kids. We will come back with our movie reviews.
I've got story time this week.
Story
as
time,
well.
yes. So we got that. And, of course, our moments of silence. And we do have a few of those. And dumbass or two. Not a ton, but...
Not a ton, but there's a couple there.
Yep. So we'll be right back, kids. Hold on. When your day of dealing with international intrigue is over and you've settled down in your Aston Martin, call up Sports Frenzy 2.0 on your phone or smart car stereo. Every Thursday, Kevin Dave will take your mind off the megalomaniac who just had a laser pointed at your genitals with the best sports criticism around. And don't forget to listen to the Weekend Edition every Saturday so you can plan out your entertainment options with the femme fatale of your choice. Grab a martini, shaken, not stirred, and check out Frenzy, Sports Frenzy 2.0. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Weekend Edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. I am the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
It's time for movies.
Dial into Movie Phone to find out what time things are playing at a theater near you.
He is not Kramer, but I love the reference. I am going to start off. I am going to review a movie that your Uncle Dave reviewed a few months back when it first hit Netflix. And I had to dump HBO Max to get Netflix back. So now I watched it and can review it. Army of the Dead.
Why didn't it rain?
Holy crap. I'm sorry. I don't care. It's phenomenal. I don't know if I was just in a mood for this type of movie. I don't know why, but I thought it's Zack Snyder. We watched the 4-hour Justice League and loved it. And now you've got Army of the Dead. I am just getting in tune with Zack Snyder's vibe, man. I don't know what it is. That man just all of a sudden he's phenomenal. This movie is so much fun.
Isn't it
It's
enjoyable?
a blast and a half. I think I liked it more than you guys did.
You may have. My problem was, as I said, too many of the freaking slow-mo shots.
That didn't bother me.
But why didn't we get a rainstorm?
You did at the end. At the very end, you got one.
But you don't see Wick.
I freaking love this, and I think this movie, along with one of the ones I'm going to review later, along with The Conquistador, I think this is the template for what Hollywood is going to try to do with these big budget action movies, is that you get one A-lister, one B-lister, and then you bring it, and then you try to bring in everybody else and hope it works. And it does for me with Army of the Dead. I thought this movie was so well cast. I liked all the characters, or hated depending on who they were.
Easy peasy Japanesey. You can't say that.
Dave Bautista is supposedly the A-lister.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that his drama, his storyline isn't overwhelming to the point where it distracts from everybody else.
Right.
And then Garrett Dillahunt would be from Raising Hope, one of the greatest TV shows of all time, is the bad guy, kind of bad guy. Maybe he's not a bad guy. Maybe he actually can figure out what's going on.
The semi-douchebag that you want to like but can't. He's
your B-lister, and then everybody else, they kind of fill in the gaps and fill in the spaces. And I think they did a fantastic job. I liked all the characters.
Watching it a second time, I grew a greater appreciation for it.
You've watched it twice.
I have seen it twice.
Okay. Now, the criticisms I've seen online focus on the daughter, which I can see, but she doesn't bother me as much as she does other people.
No.
She's a little millennial.
You have to accept the fact that she's a headstrong millennial who thinks she knows better than everybody else.
And everybody
basically kind of like the protege.
Yes, and the fact everybody else has pretty much got some kind of combat training or some kind of zombie. If we haven't mentioned it, this is a movie about a zombie heist, which just blows my mind to be this creative.
And the only zombies are in Las Vegas.
Yes. It's a brilliant idea. You know, we've done the zombie thing to death. No pun intended.
But this is
a zombie heist flick. This is an unbelievably fun take. Unbelievably fun. I
love
enjoyed it.
Siegfried and Roy's tiger.
Yes. Yes. And you've got the horse too.
Oh yes.
You've got the dead horse too. I loved it. I just freaking love this movie. Zack Snyder is the kind of guy, you can tell by now if you've watched his movies, who likes to go long instead of short. So you got a zombie heist flick that's 2.5 hours, and it was fine with me. Just like
it worked.
The Justice League extended cut was 4 hours, and I was fine with that.
Because it worked. It put everything that you needed to know right there.
Yes.
There was no gaps. There's no what the hell happened? Why was there was no jumps?
I thought it was great. I don't care if you're going to rip me apart because it's not Frances McDormand crapping in a bucket. I am going to tell you that this zombie heist flick is one of my favorite movies of 2021 so far. I am giving it 3.5 frenzies.
Wow.
Yes.
Nice.
I told you I was higher on it than you.
Yep.
I loved it. I freaking loved it.
Now I got to go back and see what did I give it back.
I think you gave it 3.
I think I gave it 3.
I think you gave 3.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I don't know if I was just in the mood for this or what, but it was freaking phenomenal.
Yep,
I loved
there it is, 3.
Yep.
Confirm.
Kids, you gotta watch this movie if you got Netflix.
It's worth your time.
It's not a Dave Bautista action movie. He's barely in it. They do a good job of splitting the character development up among everybody in the movie.
Everyone gets an equal share of screen time.
The coyote who takes them in, she's great.
Oh, she's phenomenal. Awesome. I like Dieter.
Yep.
The locksmith.
Oh, he's awesome. And the guy who's assigned to watch him is awesome as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just they did a great job of casting, a great job of splitting up the characters amongst the script in terms of nobody gets a big focus. Everybody gets kind of the same screen time. So that's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
So I give it 3.5. It's probably going to end up being one of my top 5 movies of 2021. I know. Oh, you're an idiot. You like a zombie heist flick. Screw you!
Guess
Deal
what?
with it!
We want to get away from reality. We deal enough with crap in the news. We want to be entertained. We want to forget about the shit that's going on for a while. And that's what this does.
Speaking of which, now we need to move on to our mutual review
Yes.
of the big, massive, awesome release this past weekend from Amazon Prime of The Tomorrow War.
Chris Pratt. Oh my God. I enjoyed this one. It was down on his luck, struggling to find his way in the world. Former army guy turned science teacher, hoping for a breakout position denied. Lo and behold, watching a soccer match of all things with his daughter, the future collides with the present when a team of people come in saying, we're all going to die unless you all help us defeat these aliens. So the draft is on, and Chris Pratt winds up being pulled in, going to the future, and the tours are for a week, which is wow. And the return rate is not great, kids. Earth is
30%, I think.
30%. Yeah, 30% of those drafted actually come back to the present, and they're fucked up mentally
and physically.
Yeah, and physically by this alien species that has invaded. And wow, it's intense with what he deals with and who he deals with.
All right, I got to ask you something.
Did we know it was coming?
No, did you watch this number one with your whole family?
Yes, this was a full family movie night with the exception of my mom.
Okay, was it pretty much a consensus in terms of how they felt?
It was a consensus among all of us that we enjoyed it.
Okay. So what would you give this?
Taking out some of the cheesy with the cheesy factor in there, I kind of have to go 2.5 frenzies. Just for kind of how the finale went and some of the stuff that took place.
I am going to be a little bit more negative. Not a ton. Number one, I thought Chris Pratt nailed it in. I didn't ever get the impression throughout the entire movie that he gave one rat's ass about his character other than he was cashing a paycheck. But this goes back to what we were just talking about with Army of the Dead. This is the pattern, again, I was talking about, where you spend money on one star
who is one of the executive producers and promoted the fuck out of it.
And you have one B-lister, which is J.K. Simmons, former Oscar winner.
Yep.
And then everybody else you don't know, but you kind of fill in based on
you've seen them in different things.
Right. So I find similarities between The Tomorrow War and Army of the Dead in that respect. The problem I have comparing the two is that this was not fun. I had no fun watching this movie.
No, it was not a fun watch. It was intense and more dramatic in some respects.
All right, let me ask you this. I don't mean to cut you off, but let me ask you this. Have we gotten to the point, this was what I was thinking when I was watching the movie, and I think this is a valid point of discussion for you and me. You and I together have watched so many sci-fi, so many outer space horror movies
thousands
over 30 years, 35 years, right?
Yes.
I am beginning to wonder if Hollywood has not gave up in that after Geiger's Alien and after Predator, which are two unbelievably creative, unbelievably fantastic creations that we all want to see if the script and the movie is done right over and over and over again, because they scare us. We don't. Alien drips acid if you shoot him,
right?
Or
the
her.
Predator morphs.
The Predator is made to kill everything in its path. These creatures, and I'm not just going to rip on the Tomorrow War. I'm going to rip on
Hollywood in general.
The last 20 years of movies, Independence Day, any movie you want to bring up that has aliens in it. Nobody has been able to come up with a better alien than Geiger's Alien or the Predator.
And I will give you 3 examples that morphed into the alien for the Tomorrow War.
Okay. Because I think it looks like a shrimp melded with a rat.
See,
and it doesn't.
It had that almost look of the Demogorgon from Stranger Things.
Okay, I can see that.
It had the graboid tentacles from Tremors.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
And it kind of moved like the arachnid aliens from Starship Troopers.
I thought you were going to say moves like Jagger.
But... No. No. So you kind of got the Starship Trooper.
Why would you even bring up Starship Troopers? Oh, my God.
Because I actually kind of enjoyed that as a guilty pleasure.
Yeah. You like Denise Richards' boobies in that one.
That wasn't Denise did not show them. It was the other one.
Oh.
That I cannot think of her name offhand. The long, curly-haired redhead.
I thought that was Denise.
No, that's not Denise Richards.
But I didn't get into the fact, and I'm tired of it, even with Stranger Things. That's a great point to bring up. You bring up Stranger Things. I am just not into these aliens that they're the same thing over and over and over again. Come up with something different and new. The only reason Stranger Things works is because of the characters and the actors right now.
Yes.
You know, you cast that movie or that show so well. Tremors, you cast that movie so well with Kevin Bacon, Michael Gross, the first
Fred
one
Ward.
at least. Fred Ward. Love Fred Ward. Remo Williams.
Exactly.
But give me an alien. Give me a creature that I can be frightened of, that I can be scared of. And I didn't get this from the Tomorrow War.
No.
I didn't care about the characters. I did like the ending. I did like the fact, and I will not spoil anything, but
the very final...
The time travel issue where they have to go back and fix things in the past to make things in the future work.
Correct.
I was okay with that. That kind of worked best for me of the entire movie. But again, Chris Pratt just didn't do it for me. And he didn't act like he cared. He acted like he was ready the minute they said cut.
He was out of there.
To text his accountant on his phone saying, did I get my paycheck for this week from this crap?
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, think about it.
There was too much. There was a lot of the cheesy damn scenes. A fight scene towards the end. Come on. Really? You're going to go there with that hand-to-hand crap with this thing? No.
Well, I've always said that I do not like the CG effects. I am not a big fan. I didn't like the Avengers, the first Avengers, because I thought it was almost like a Transformers movie to me. And I hate the Transformers movies. So I have always liked the old school stuff. I have always liked Alien. I loved American
Get the
Werewolf
guy
in
in the
London.
suit.
Get the guy in. Rick Baker was unbelievable back in the 80s, being able to do makeup and do this, the latex.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have never seen the transformation sequence in American Werewolf in London, it's old school, and you might laugh at it, but you got to understand the time and the place.
There was no computers to do any of this stuff.
And it's brilliant.
And it still holds well today.
Yes. The snout coming. That's what I want. I want that kind of
intensity.
When I see the alien and the saliva dripping from the mouth and the second mouth coming out, it's just creepy and scary beyond belief. And I have never seen anybody equal that in 30 years at least.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough to find something original.
So that's why I can't recommend The Tomorrow War. Two frenzies for me.
There you go. What else you got for us?
Well, you and I were talking a couple weeks ago about watching The Hitman's Bodyguard, but we did not know who would have access to it.
Right.
And you did not.
I did not have access to it.
Of course, The Hitman's Bodyguard's wife is out in the theaters right now. So I figured I'd finish up. Started watching it a couple weeks ago. And again, like I said, we realized that Dave couldn't see it. So I backed off for a week. And then I finished it up a couple days ago. All right. I must have stopped watching it at the right time. Because I was about 45 minutes into it. And I was thinking, oh my God, this is going to be Samuel Jackson doing his old Pulp Fiction, cursing, swearing, F this, white people suck, white people are stupid. And Ryan Reynolds doing his typical Deadpool kind of crap.
His snarky, foul mouth.
Right. And so the first third of the movie is very generic, and I had a hard time getting through it. I'm glad I stuck with it because the second half is awesome. I mean, you've got a couple action sequences that are up there with Bond in terms of, there's one with a boat, motorcycle, car chase, and then there's another one, just a car chase. They are phenomenal.
Well choreographed.
Well, because then you get these idiots to stop talking. I don't have to listen to Samuel Jackson doing his typical MF this, MF that. And the funny thing about the movie is they actually play off of that kind of stuff. Where at one point, Ryan, I'm sorry, I don't mean to spoil the movie. I'm not spoiling a plot line, but everybody knows how Samuel L. Jackson talks.
Right.
And at one point, Ryan Reynolds looks at the guy and says, "This asshole has ruined motherfucker for the rest of us." Because that's all he does is say MF all the time. It's great. They finally find their rhythm about an hour into the movie with the action, with the dialogue. And then the big thing is Salma Hayek shows up early on, and then they get rid of her. And thank God, because all she's trying to be is a female Samuel Jackson, where it's, MF this, MF that, MF this, MF that.
That's not her.
Yeah. No, show us your boobs and go away.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, later on, they bring her back in, but in a more romantic way because she's Samuel Jackson's wife. And the music at the end is really cool. There's a great original song that he wrote that he sings over the closing credits. That's awesome. Fantastic. And I do love Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is He's got that snarky, sarcastic thing that I love, that I like
Everybody
to think,
enjoys.
yes, that I strive to be like. I love that sense of humor. So the first half of the movie, I was probably gonna go 1.5. But after it started picking up steam, and finally we get to the point where they get Samuel Jackson to where he's supposed to be. Gary Oldman's a bad guy, great bad guy.
Love Gary Oldman.
Yes, I will give it 3 frenzies, hearty, solid 3 frenzies.
All right,
I loved it, absolutely loved it.
Very nice.
Couple other movie notes. We have talked about The Shining way too much lately. Have you realized this?
We have very much so.
2 weeks ago, we talked about The Shining. Last week, we didn't talk about it, but we reviewed Ready Player One, which had a very prominent scene
with The Shining.
So guess what?
We're talking about The Shining again.
July the 4th, 2021 is the 100th anniversary of the ball.
Oh, good Lord. Really?
Do we
really give a shit?
I thought that would just be an interesting little tidbit.
Okay. All right. That's a nice little movie tidbit. I thought you were going to say they were going to do a movie about it.
No, I was just going to say it's the 100th anniversary.
Okay. That I will accept. I would not have accepted them trying to
because,
pull a
of course,
movie
2 weeks
of
ago we reviewed the sequel, Dr. Sleep.
Yep.
All right. I have some Marvel news coming up, but I'm going to save it for the last segment. See how the Conquistador feels about it before we go into our moments of silence and our dumbasses of the week.
But I have story time with Uncle Dave in the next segment.
That'll be first up, kids. Hold on. When the mindless zombies at the major sports networks won't leave you alone. When the forces of evil on local sports radio have you cornered. Load up the boomstick known as Sports Frenzy 2.0. Available on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and CastBox. Kevin Dave will drive the dull and boring voices in your head away and offer you the sports salvation you need. New episodes drop every Thursday. And don't forget the weekend edition every Saturday, where the Maestro and the Conquistador might just review your favorite horror flick. Sports Frenzy 2.0. It's groovy.
Welcome back to segment 3 of the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. This will hit July 10th, 2021 as we record on the 7th. It's time for story time with Uncle Dave. I'm the Conquistador Dave Height.
I'm the Maestro Kevin Crane.
And this past weekend, sitting around on the deck Saturday night before the 4th, neighbors came over, and neighbor Steve's always commenting on the variety of t-shirts owned by me and my boys, all the different movies and characters. And so we're sitting there, and he goes, Speed Racer, God, you guys have the best t-shirts. I'm like, yeah, it was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. And he goes, mine too. And what do you think about the movie? I'm like, oh, actually, I was pleasantly surprised. He goes, it's one of the favorites in the household. I said, the boys and I have watched it repeatedly, and I also have the entire cartoon on DVD. He's like, no freaking way. So we were talking about it Saturday night, and Sunday we all got together for the 4th of July, and he's telling his kids that we had the whole cartoon series, and I had the t-shirt, and we were all then again talking about the movie. As cheesy as it was fun. So if you get an opportunity to go back and watch Speed Racer with Emile Hirsch, it's well worth it.
I will say, skip the movie,
You're killing me, Smalls.
but watch the TV show.
If you can get a hold of
I
it.
screwed up on the TV show because a couple years ago, Amazon, on one of their Prime deals, I don't know if it was Prime Day or if it was over the Black Friday weekend, had the entire series on DVD for $20.
Damn.
And I passed on it. And I wish I hadn't. I wish I had pulled the trigger and I bought it, but I passed on it. Now, I saw Speed Racer, the movie, the Wachowski brothers.
Yep.
We went the theater, and I did not like it.
You did not like it. I had low expectations for it.
Okay, maybe I had higher expectations.
I had low expectations and was pleasantly surprised. But there were the cheesy parts in there that kind of went away from some of the original, from the cartoons, that I didn't care for. But overall, I was happy with the result because it brought back my childhood.
Right. And I was just going to bring that up, is that there are so many shows that you and I liked from our childhood that have not been either done at all, adapted at all, or done well. Why can't anybody figure out how to do Johnny Quest?
That's a damn good question.
Nobody has ever dared to take a shot at it, which might be a good thing.
Yeah. How many stupid versions of Scooby-Doo have we had?
Right.
And not done well.
Thundar the Barbarian.
Masters of the Universe.
Well, now Kevin Smith.
Going back to the cartoon.
But again,
though,
it's
animated.
It's animated, so I don't know how I'm going to feel about that. I admire Kevin Smith for always trying to be out there and do what he wants when he wants, but just do Mallrats 2 and Clerks 4. Jesus God.
What you're supposed to do.
Those are the characters we love and know.
So there's a roundabout way to getting what
Banana
we want.
Splits is another one. All the characters in Banana Splits. Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn. Danger Island.
Oh my God.
Why nobody could we not get
another Danger Island?
Could you? That would be phenomenal.
That would be one of the
Three Musketeers.
My God, you could put Danger Island as a series.
I know. There are so many great ideas in animation
out there
from the 60s and 70s that nobody will jump on. Nobody will take advantage of and put the money into.
Yeah. Now, is some of this Hanna-Barbera won't release?
It could be. You can't even get the entire Banana Splits together. You can buy. I have bought Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn. I have that.
Yeah.
I have all those little shorts together.
Okay.
You can't get Danger Island.
You probably can't.
You can't get the Three Musketeers. So that's why I'm wondering
what about Gulliver?
No Gulliver. Gulliver's great. Gulliver's Travels.
No.
Great call, Dave. Great call. You can't get Gulliver. The only one you seem to be able to get separately is Tom and Huck and Becky.
See, and then they even went so far as to give you a bad horror version of the Banana Splits.
Yes, they did. Yeah. You cannot. I just want them to put out the original Banana Splits episodes like they were.
Boom.
I want Adamant.
Oh, hell yes.
I want Magilla Gorilla. I want every little
Squiddly
segment.
Diddly.
Why is it so hard for them just to put out the Banana Splits as they were, season by season?
It's got to be a Hanna-Barbera thing.
It's got to be.
So there's your roundabout rant getting back to everything we love from the late 60s and the early 70s.
That's because of Uncle Dave's awesome story time.
And my wonderful Speed Racer t-shirt.
Couple other tidbits from the movie industry before we move on. Dave reviewed Greenland last week, as I recall.
Yes.
I did not realize how popular this movie was.
It is that underground groundswell of a horror flick.
Because,
or not horror, natural disaster.
Right. Con, the big fruity, freaky deaky film industry get together where, we all pat each other on the back and talk about how
great
awesome we are. Yeah. The sequel to Greenland, called Greenland Migration, sold to STX, who distributed the first one, for $75 million.
What?
So that tells you how well the first one must have done.
Lord.
In streaming, because at the box office, it only made about $30 million.
Yeah, it didn't do anything.
In the U.S. So Greenland Migration will be coming soon. Theaters, streaming somewhere. But wow, $75 million?
For the rights.
Yes. Now, of course, this weekend in America, Black Widow is coming. This is the rebirth, the renewal of the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
Is it going to work?
I don't know. Early reports I've heard have not been stellar.
I am concerned. I am wary.
Yeah.
I don't like the whole Disney Plus thing, but of course they're still putting it in the theaters, so that's beside the point. But
Disney got a hold of it, and I don't know that it's going to hold up to the rest of the Marvel.
Yeah, I don't see how Black Widow starts a new storyline that we will be interested or involved in, like we were with the Avengers.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a plan right now of what they want to do.
And of course, the PC crap comes into play again, where Black Widow, aka Scarlett Johansson, has been coming out over the last 6 or 8 months saying, I don't like how they've sexualized the Black Widow character. Black Widow wears black leather. Tight black leather. Get over it.
Unzipped halfway down her chest.
Get over it. This is something that drives me crazy about Hollywood celebrities, is that don't like us because we're pretty, but like us because we're pretty. Scarlett Johansson, don't sexualize me, but like me because I'm sexy. I don't understand what's going through these idiots' heads. We like celebrities for the sole reason that you're good looking, you're beautiful. That's the only. You're not smart.
No, most of you are a box of rocks, and the only reason we pay attention to movies, period, as we said earlier, is we want to be entertained and taking away from reality for an hour and a half to 2 hours on average.
Yeah, so Scarlett Johansson bitching and pissing and moaning about the fact that we might like Black Widow because she's hot. It's just stupid. It's just, you hear this over. I've heard this from Scarlett Johansson. I've heard this from Sharon Stone. I've heard this from Charlize Theron, where they sit there and they go, don't like us because we're pretty, but yet they're more than willing to show their boobs, what's between their legs, and then go, well, take us seriously.
Yeah, it's the Hollywood conundrum. They don't live in reality. They take on their personas too much. They don't know where it starts, where it stops.
Be happy with the fact that you're good looking. Be happy with the fact
Be
that
happy you got a freaking job that you can make millions upon millions of dollars from and not worry about anything like the rest of us schlubs.
The drama that you have to go, because again, I go back to Charlize Theron and Sharon Stone. A couple years ago, they were bitching, we can't find anybody to date us. Because number one, you're probably freaking high maintenance. And number two, Pete, who bowls on the corner bowling league, is not going to send you a DM and say, hey, Charlize, what you doing tonight?
Yeah, like you're going to give any of those poor guys a second look. Come on.
Speaking of Marvel, time for the maestro to get a little bit upset.
Pissed off with the way they're going with the whole LGBTQ political correctness in the Marvel Universe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but not even beyond that, Conquistador, beyond that. Now, there is a series coming out, Marvel Comics, The United States of Captain America, where Captain America basically denigrates America and the American dream. He basically says the American dream is not real.
Right.
So Marvel has done everything in their power to denigrate, destroy all the characters that we had grown up and loved. I've said I'm fine with Sam Wilson taking over as Captain America. That, to me, is a logical progression.
Right.
But now Thor's going to be a woman. Jane Foster's taking over as Thor. We have a female Wolverine. When does it stop? When do you stop with the antagonistic behavior and stop acting like white males aren't allowed to be superheroes anymore? Iron Man. Pepper Potts was alluded to taking over as Iron Man at the end of the Avengers saga in the movies, in Endgame. When do you stop antagonizing the white males and let us have at least the characters that we grew up with, that we built, and that we created? Why do you have to always take everything away from us? Is that how you feel you get power? I find that immature and despicable. So now Captain America says the American dream is not real.
Way to tear down the country. Beautiful.
This is the rat. This is the rat, because now they own Marvel. This is the rat getting their little stinking claws.
When they took over and bought the rights, we said they were going to destroy the entire franchise.
And we were correct. Now, kudos to what they did up through Endgame.
Yeah, they stuck with the program that was already established.
Yes, and I don't think the rat had anything to do with that. Now they're going to pull in all the profits after the fact of all the people, the Russos,
everything.
The Russos who put together that great 2-part Infinity War Endgame saga. And now it's on Disney Plus. Oh, we're going to do Loki.
It's going to be a hodgepodge of
like you mentioned a month ago, Loki is now bisexual. So, of course, we've got, oh, yay, Loki's bisexual. Get out your pom-poms and cheer and scream because Loki actually is going to sleep with anybody who comes up next to him, male or female.
But guess what? That doesn't make me want to watch it. I don't care.
I think that's the problem. Is I think the more they do this stuff, the more they push this PC crap on everybody, the less likely we are to watch it. I have not signed up for Disney Plus.
Nope, won't.
I keep holding off. I don't know if I will. I have not heard great things about WandaVision.
No,
I already know. I already
bad.
know that Sam Wilson becomes Captain America. That's fine. Like I said,
we've read the comic books.
The Falcon was always going to be Captain America. That's fine.
Yeah, there's nothing about what they're doing that makes me want to sign up for Disney Plus and watch this stuff.
Yeah. All right, moments of silence. A big one, because this guy directed a ton of movies that I grew up with, that I loved, that influenced my life. And I know one of them influenced your life, and you're going to bash me, Dave, to hell and back. Richard Donner passed away, the great director.
The great director.
Directed Superman
with
Christopher Reeve, which I remember seeing here at the old Town and Country Theater, which I just remember as being a magical, fantastic experience.
It was awesome.
And of course, he directed the first Lethal Weapon, one of the first great action movies of the 80s.
Yes.
Now, the one you're going to kill me for is The Goonies.
I liked The Goonies.
I've never seen it. I've never seen
it.
What? I've told you this. I have never seen The Goonies. I have never seen The Goonies.
I am ashamed to call you my friend right now.
I have never seen The Goonies.
Oh my God.
Despite all the pop culture references and all the movies and all the TV
and
shows.
Everybody who's in there.
I have never seen The Goonies. Never seen it.
Your nephews would be so disappointed in you.
I'll try to find it somewhere on one of these.
Do you want to borrow it?
No, I will find it. I will find it. And I will watch it. I still have to watch the first two Kingsman movies before we go see the third one.
Damn right. One-Eyed Willie is going to curse you until you watch it.
We've also got to pass along moments of silence to John Lawton, the second singer for Uriah Heep.
Yep.
As well as, and this is going to be a very bizarre reference. This one I might get you on.
You might.
As much as I look at you as a film savant, as much as I look at the Conquistador as the man who I go to for all of my film knowledge, I might get him on this. Robert Downey Jr.'s father passed away. Robert Downey Sr.
Downey Sr.
What movie did he direct that he is most well known for? No, not Putney Swope. No, he just stuck that in my face. No, that's what the critics say. The critics say Putney Swope. That is not the one that you and I should know him for.
Most of the directors, I am not that familiar with what they have
done. So you're saying you bow out?
I don't know.
Mad Magazine wanted to get into the movie business in the late 70s and the early 80s. They put out a movie called Up the Academy.
No!
Robert Downey Sr. directed Up the Academy. I went to the theaters and saw Up the Academy because I love Mad Magazine.
I have seen Up the Academy a number of times on HBO back when I was a kid.
Up the Academy is the finest moment, in my opinion, my humble opinion, of Robert Downey Sr. He directed that movie.
There you go. More power to him for that one. God, that was...
I have not, until I looked up.
That is one of the original beginnings of the raunchy college comedy.
Well, no, what it was a response to
To
Animal
Animal
House, National Lampoon's Animal House.
Right.
So
it was
then Mad wanted to
Magazine
get into
had
it.
to get
Yes.
into it, but those were the first two that led in.
And if you kids don't understand what we're talking about, when we were kids,
Go watch Up the Creek, Hot Dog the movie.
but the magazines we read Mad Magazine and Cracked. They were stupid, juvenile, fun magazines that came out every month or every week. I think they were every month.
Monthly.
Okay. And I would get them every month.
It was satirical of everything.
They would
in
pick
life.
the big movie that was coming out that month, and they would do a parody of it.
Yes.
And of course, Alfred E. Newman in Mad Magazine. But when I saw that Robert Downey Sr. had directed Up the Academy, I had to pull that one out.
You did. That was
have
brilliant.
not thought of Up the Academy in ages.
God.
I might have to get on Amazon tonight, see if I can get it for cheap.
No kidding. Let's see if I can watch that one again. God. Good times.
All right. I do have one dumbass. Do you have any this week?
I do not.
Okay. So we're going to wrap it up here. And I don't want to, number one, because she's beautiful beyond all belief. And number two, because I know Johnny Depp's a complete and total asshole, but I have to call Amber Heard as my dumbass of the week on the weekend edition. She did have a baby recently. It might be a month or two ago. And again, I'm going to give her a lot of credit for being just hot. And, a lot of credit for putting up with Johnny Depp's shit.
She's kind of a moron herself.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Because you know what she named her baby? Oonagh.
Oonagh.
Oonagh. Oonagh. Why do these celebrities do this? Why do they name their kids
stupid
Apple
names?
Inspector Jason Lee, who we love, does not get away with this crap. Inspector Pilot is what he called one of his kids.
I know. It's just bad.
Why do you do this, you idiots in Hollywood? Is it not enough that you have to draw all the attention on yourself just by being morons? You got to do this to your kids?
Scarring them for life.
Freaking normal names. Oonagh. What the hell does Oonagh mean? Amber, I love you. You're gorgeous. God, you're hot.
But you're a fucking idiot.
You're one of the 10 most beautiful women in the world, but you're a moron. Between sticking with Johnny Depp and now calling your child Oonagh. I can't take it, Dave. I can't take it.
And I think this is a good time
to say
goodnight.
I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the sane one, the conquistador, Dave Height.
We hope you tune in next week. We might possibly have a review of Perry Mason. Season 1, we're hoping to. We hope to have a review of the new Wallflowers album, Exit Wounds, and we will definitely have our first concert review of the year. You will get a lot of these coming up the next couple months, kids, but definitely next week you will get your first concert review from the Conquistador and the Maestro.
Finally, live music is back, baby.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how many freaking anal probes I have to go through to get in the door.
No kidding. How many blood samples we have to give.
Yeah. Cough here. Put this temperature gauge up here.
Shove your foot up your own ass.
But we'll share it all with you because, that's what we do.
We're caring, giving people.
We love you. We'll check you out next week. Take care, kids.